Okay, discovery. Alright, so I'm going to try to make this as quick as possible today. And my internet is not really working down here in the basement, so but at this point, like when it comes to the stuff on Google Classroom, again, for the most part, like the James Baldwin is going to be like outlined like right here, right? So you're going to make sure that you put the interpretation in the right place and inference in the right place. All right. So let's go get right into it. So again, the primary focus being like independent reading of sentences, right? So really, one of the reasons why like I didn't post this I post these the day of, right, rather than like a couple days before. It's just give people the opportunity to do these on your own, which is really the point, right? The whole point of this is that you're reading sentences on your own without other people, doing the work of interpreting for you. Alright, so, and again, what do readers do? Well, readers for the most part use predicates and subjects to make sense of things, and using prepositional phrases and adjectives and adverbs to accentuate their understanding. I mean, think about it like that. Alright, so first off, let's get through this. So it says the purpose of education finally is to create in a person the ability to look at the world for himself, to make his own decisions, to say to himself, this is black or this is white, to decide for himself whether there is a God in heaven or not, to ask questions of the universe, and then learn to live with those questions is the way he achieves his own identity. But no society is really anxious to have that kind of person around, all right? So, purpose of education, finally, is to create, is the first verb there. Now, there's something interesting going on with this, which I want to show. And then it says the purpose of education is to create. What's the subject? Purpose. Now, this of education, right, is giving you more information about what that purpose actually is. Right? So this of education is giving you more information about what that purpose actually is, right? So it's prepositional. Of is the preposition, education. Of education is a prepositional phrase that gives you more information about what that purpose is. So the purpose of education, finally, is to create in a person. So where, right? Preposition. In a person, the ability to look. To look is a verb. Okay. And who looks? Right. This person. This person looks. Alright. Okay. Is the ability to look at the world for himself. To make. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Wrong. It is late. We're not doing that. We're doing that. To make his own decisions, right? Who is making his own decisions, right? Is the person. But the purpose is to, so that's the other, that's the confusing thing here. So you have this person, right? The person is the one that's looking at the world for himself. The person is the one who's making his own decisions, right? But again, you also, it's like the purpose of education is to create. The purpose of education is to look at the world, is to make. So it's kind of a dual thing, but really we're going to take the person is the one that's actually doing all these things. Okay. It is to say to himself. So to say is the verb there, right? So this person is looking at the world, is making his own decisions, is saying something to himself, right? This is black. So is the verb there. And what is this? Or this is white. So is the verb there. And what is this? Okay. And then to decide for himself. This is black or this is white. Decide for himself. Now, when he says this is black or this is white, there's an inference there, right? So pay attention to that. It's not necessarily a color, just a color thing when it comes to this is black or this is white, right? To decide for himself, right, whether there is a God in heaven or not. It's also the purpose of being able to read for yourself as well as I'm reading through this, right? Whether there is a God in heaven or not. To ask questions. Okay. So before I go to this next thing, notice what's happening here. To make his own decisions, right? Say to himself, to decide for himself. So this person is the one that is making. This person is the one that's looking. This person is the one that's saying. This person is the one that is deciding. So all these verbs go back to that subject. Okay, and you can usually tell when you have like a comma and then there's no noun here, right? So you're going back to that previous noun. Now, these are a little tricky. This is like a little tricky because you have a subject there, you have a subject here. This initially is a little tricky because of the fact that like you have the person here and you have the purpose there, right? But really, again, when you're reading, you're trying to like make the most sense. And sometimes they don't necessarily put the subject right next to the verb, right? But you want to use your logic while you're making what would really be being a micro inference. Right? Okay, so so this idea to say to himself, right? A purpose is not going to say to himself, right? The other thing is you could say like this person is the one that's doing the actions. Right? Not a thing is doing the actions, but the person themselves is doing the actions. Okay, so we'll just keep going. So next sentence. To ask questions. Okay, there we go. This is why I wanted to stop. So to ask questions. Now, who's asking the questions? Right? Because like, you have this period, right? And then learn to live. Who's learning to live with those questions? Is the way. We'll get back to that in a second. He achieves the verb there. His own identity. So to ask questions of the universe and then learn to live with those questions is the way he achieves. Well, this one is easy, right? It's one of those cases where the pronoun is right there, right? And the subject is always going to be a noun or a pronoun. Right? And even then, you're trying to figure out, okay, what is the noun that this pronoun goes back to, right? Who is he? He, right, is this person. Let's shift down a little bit. There you go. He is this person. Right? So the pronoun always goes back to a previous noun. Here, he is the person. So who's asking questions of the universe? This person. And then who is learning to live? This person. All right. With those questions is the way he achieves his own identity. Okay. Well, the person isn't the way he achieves, right? That doesn't make any sense. What is the way? Well, asking questions and learning to live with those questions is the way. So this entire thing here, right? Oddly enough, becomes the subject, right? Asking questions and living with those questions, right? And then learning to live with those questions is the way he achieves his own identity, right? So that process is being described as the way, right? And then he, being who? The person, right? Achieves his own identity. But no society is is the verb there, meaning really anxious is describing what? The society. But there's no society. So no. Keep in mind that no is describing the society here, but no society. So it's not the society is really anxious. It's no society is really anxious, right? Or really like gung-ho, right? To have, right? And who has? The society, right? That kind of person around, right? And then when it says that kind of person, right? What person are you talking about? This person, right? The person that's what? Doing all of this. Right? All right. And then part of this is like, why? Right? Now that's a big part of the inference. So like when you're going down and you're filling out micro inference, given everything that we've learned about in terms of education and taxes and unions and corporate welfare and globalization, right? Why is it that society is not really anxious to have this type of person around? And should society want this type of person around? Right? So that's a thought as well. All right. So as always, I hope you are happy and healthy. There's a lot of tragedy in the world right now. And I think that's one of the reasons why we have to appreciate each other a little bit more while we have them around. So stay happy, stay healthy, stay up. And I miss you guys. All right, take care.